This is the Juggernaut, the biggest and most dangerous creature found in Ark Supreme. And this is us. We're going to explore this mod, which has a lot of different creatures, and before the video starts, make sure you guys subscribe to join the Duck Squad and enjoy the adventure. We barely played Astrio, so our strat for picking a spawn was click the first thing and pray. I spawned next to something called a berserk dodo. He didn't immediately try to eat my soul, so I figured he was a friend and I started making the basics. And when I went through the engrams real quick, that same dodo decided to choose violence and stabbed me in the back. Wait, what? Akisa was having a much prettier start further down the beach, mostly focusing on her fashion sense and putting on a weird suit.
Priorities.
I had a better start now, and it was going great until I saw a freaking turkey down the beach. Wait, it moves so quickly! Okay, I don't know what HP it has. I wish it would move slower! Oh my god. When Akisa encountered the turkey, let's just say the turkey won the debate.
Sir, oh my god. That was a vicious turkey.
And while I was just admiring the glowtail and shinehorn, I literally got backstabbed by a stealthy dodo. Whoa! Where did he come from? I was a little bit nervous about recovering my items considering he was so close to it. So now I ended up being chased by freaking dodos. Akisa was having the same kind of experience. We are literally getting evicted by freaking dodos. Akisa's solution to the problem right now was to jump into the ocean. But the turkey was just waiting for Akisa to get back on the beach so he could harass her.
Oh my god. This turkis is lurking.
Akisa's situation was pretty bad. She had a supersonic turkey in the ocean while also drowning a few inches from the beach. So she had to accept her loss. But after a few tries, Akisa spawned next to me now. So we could drive up and keep track of whenever we kicked the bucket to something stupid. For now, I wanted to see if I could try fighting something easy to take down for hide when I came across this Dilophosaur. But it didn't really seem like it was gonna surrender that easily. It turned on Akisa and literally one-shot her. Oh, no way it did that much. Oh my god! Now I have dodos on me. The dodo I could easily deal with, but this berserk dillo was a challenge. Akisa didn't come and help me with the dillo because she was getting chased by a toxic dodo to the water. The struggle bus we were going through was unreal. Early game in Supreme is difficult. I decided to run because this was taking me nowhere. I'm hella running. What is that? Akisa also let me know we cannot use the Supreme hide to make a simple bola, so this changes things completely. We'll have to look for normal dinos first, just to make the simplest of things like a bola. I decided to walk down the beach closer to the mountains in order to find more vanilla dinos, but I was a little bit unsure of that when I saw a manticore in the air along with a wyvern. Bruh, what is this? There's wyverns here. I was met by two of those big dodos and he was able to fire missiles at me. What was that? Oh Christ. Did you just do that? There's no way. That was a boss? And as I spawned in on day 2, the dodo boss ran past me going for Akisa. Oh no! I have the spawn shield. No way! It hit you for that much. There's no way. Like at this point, I wasn't even sure where we could go because we had like 3 of them boss dodos gatekeeping us here. Anyways, I did see one of these beloved birds, so now I was able to get some of that vanilla hide. So I instantly made a bola for me and Akisa and the Spyglass to see the creature's HP. We instantly used the Spyglass and saw that this berserk dillo I tried fighting before had 5000 HP. But he ran away. But his bosses, however, was completely on a different level. They had 124 million. yeah, like we can take care of those. Yes.
Oh. What's this one? Oh, a berserk overraptor.
What are we doing? Are we bullying an overraptor?
Yeah, desperate times.
I was considering making a raft, but I was missing out on the levels for it, so right now we're just gonna continue down the beach for now to see where this leads us. Wait. I was just thinking about that. Let me see. Cloth. We can make the savage cloth armor. It costs savage hide and fiber. Do we have any savage hide? Oh, I have some.
I don't have any savage hide.
I need more fiber.
Is savage going to be the first level of creatures for us?
Yeah, I believe so. You know, I don't even, I haven't even taken a look into it yet. You know, I have no idea what tier starts. Maybe it's like Nemesis, so you can start wherever. I don't know.
Well, level 20, we start having kibbles available to us, so. Oh, look, up there. Oh, it's beautiful. It's Bulldog. Oh, also, an NPC.
Where do you see this NPC? Oh, yeah, I see it now.
Right.
Wow, we're not fighting that. We're going here. We're going water. Yeah, the NPC just had way too much HP for us to deal with right now, so it was time to leave. I was also able to make a bed, because we haven't been really attacked for a while. I decided to just place it out here as well for now. We were planning on going over to the shore where the boats are, and we were feeling this was gonna be pretty bad. Is that a manticore? Oh my god, there's wyverns there. And manticores. So far, it didn't seem like there was anything dangerous on the beach, so I decided to pick up some fiber from the bottom of the ocean so I can make some of these new savage armor pieces. Now, I wasn't quite sure if this was gonna help or not, but I wanted to believe in it. And as we made landfall on the beach, the manticore came swooping by for a Kisa. Look at what's behind you. I don't know how I managed to get away.
You got away from that?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And since the Kisa was moving her way to me now, I decided to go for the encampment up here. I also found these boxes that Ragnarok usually has that gave me surprisingly some metal tools and a crossbow. Akisa, however, was having a little bit of a conundrum where her own self was floating in the air and she was trying to get her stuff back. And I saw some huge bugs nearby which apparently had an insane range to attack me from. What? In addition to that, Akisa suffered from the Dimorphodon nearby when trying to recover her items. So when I was gonna respawn at the bed, she took it before me, so I had to spawn randomly somewhere hating life right now. But at least our bed cooldown isn't long at all. Having a long cooldown for the beds are diabolical and would drive us insane. So when I got to Akisa, I recovered her things for her, which wasn't too difficult at all. Akisa was considering building a structure just to grab those things.
Yeah, we got some things around us though. Incoming Turgus.
You can't bola it. I still wanted to try recovering my things, and Akisa needed some of the tools at the camp, so we just had to go up there. I tried throwing some spears at the bugs, but I was missing so badly and he went into camp. The ant deleted Akisa so badly that her game crashed, and I got annihilated by the bug. It has a crazy range. Alright, now when I'm fueled up IRL, it's time to do this. I got my stuff now and Akisa's, and we retreated back to the ocean, which worked perfectly. And since Akisa also got her stuff back, I was suggesting we should have left this place. But Akisa wanted to stick around here for a little bit longer, so then I could try gathering more stuff for raft to get out of this place. Warden Triceratops, 77 million! I just have to be a little bit cautious, because this mod has so many dinos with millions of health. Akisa heard about the raft ID and she agreed, so she was gonna try taking down a turtle she found in the ocean, but she took a big L rather quickly from it. Akisa made it over to me and gave me some hide, so I was able to make the raft now. I wasn't sure where to make a landfall, but this map is huge and it's scattered with many islands as well. So for now, it's probably a good idea to go to any island that doesn't have any bosses around. We just need to avoid super populated areas because this map has like almost 60,000 dinos spawning.
Park off the edge of this and we'll go explore the island of Fatillo.
So far, this beach only had dodos and turkeys, but it wasn't hard to deal with. I don't know. I want to be more centered, you know, in the map. It feels so uncentered.
Well, right now, we're not really in a place to be picky, man.
Yeah.
We're one particularly nasty encounter away from having a...
reset?
Yeah.
And while I was running back to grab the raft, Akisa was taming a dolphin nearby, so we could maybe take it down to the ocean to grab some silica pearls. So a little bit later, I spotted a pretty high-level vanilla parasaur, and considering we have no other tames and no berry gatherer, It will be a good tame to get right now to get some easy narco berries. Akis was already working on building us a house right now when I was looking over creatures to hunt for hide. I needed to get some trank arrows, but I just needed a little bit of hide for the mortar and pestle. And now I can finally make the thing, so I could have some trank arrows. And with the Supreme mod, there will be many variants as well for tranks. When I was trying to make some tranks, I didn't have any spoiled meat on me, but Akisa did, so I had to move the raft over to her for now. And now I was able to make a few trank arrows that will be enough just for the parasaur. I also made a Supreme forge that will make all of the Supreme ingots for the different tiers. Alright, so I got to the beach, I bowled the parasaur and I removed it from its consciousness. But I was gonna need a saddle for it, and I just found the perfect guy who will give me that hide that I need. Now, I gotta be careful with this parasaur because this is the only thing we can use right now to get the tranks at the vault. But when I made it to the island, I saw something in the distance. Oh my lord! No, no, no!
What'd you see?
It was not a pteranodon or anything like that. You know what it was? It looked like it was a dodo wyvern.
That's concerning.
That is very concerning. And while Akisa was continuing on the building, I was making a few things for the raft itself, like a preserving bin. I'm probably gonna use it a lot until we have a fast flyer, since this map is massive. But when I tried making the new Narcos from Supreme, I couldn't see any of the blueprints at all. And I didn't quite understand what I was doing wrong. Am I missing something here, or what? There's a Supreme bench. Yeah, so it just turns out I'm just an idiot and we can make it in the most obvious thing ever. And when I was looking at the kibble types, it looks like we can start out with Savage and then move on to Toxic tier. But like any other overhaul, we need to get our hands on some basic dinosaur eggs to make these. And since we have moved pretty far away from the starter zone, we might have to go back there again just to look for some classic dodos to tame. Like, since we lived here, we didn't have enough metal in this area, and Akisa suggested we should farm the river rocks, but they hardly give us enough metal. And we're also gonna need crystal to make some soul balls for our dinos to keep them safe. But for now, we were just taking it a little bit slow since we weren't doing anything super productive. I was farming some things around the beach, and Akisa was working on the roof for the base. There's a manticore on this island.
Ah, fortunate. It is the Manticore's island now.
I kinda had a feeling about this area. This area is too good to be true. It's really not safe anywhere. And I also took a look into this point system and decided to go for the bonded taming, where it will give me 30% of an imprint boost of something. Sounds kinda OP, but I don't know how much that will matter in Supreme. But for now, I had to go to the mainland and try looking for some vanilla dodos to tame for the regs.
Oh, is that a manticore? A salvage whelpling manticore.
Is that a normal dodo there? I say normal dodo, but there's a lot of other dangerous things around it. But when I was shooting this toxic dodo, I wasn't able to run at all, and my crossbow didn't do any reloading animation either. And now, when it was somewhat safe, I can go for my male dodo here. Akisa wasn't having such luck with the dodo on the island though.
Oh, I'm running for my life with my little bird legs. I got stuck in a rock!
It wasn't long until I spotted some crystal up on this rock formation, so I made a reusable grappling hook to get up there to grab it. Akisa was however getting bullied by the very manticore that was lurking in the area. Anyways, I had gathered up as much crystal as I possibly could now, and I was sorting out the inventory until I spotted a dodo wyvern flying close to me. I'm gonna lose the raft.
Oh no.
Yeah, I have the dodo wyvern on it. Oh! There goes the raft, I guess.
No, the dodo.
And the raft with all the things on it. I had to try rescuing most of my things at the bottom of the ocean as best as I could. I am completely stranded here now. Akisa was gonna try making a raft and come rescue me, but her encounter with the dodos wasn't going exactly great for her. I wasn't gonna sit here and wait for my doom, so I did my best I could to try getting back on my feet. I just had to be extra careful and not perish to any of the peasants here because I don't really have a bed. But now, I was able to make a new raft along with some other structures again. I feel like this isn't a great situation for me if a dino can literally one-shot this raft, so I wasn't quite sure what I would do right now. For starters, I placed down a few foundations that would hopefully protect it a little bit. Akisa was still working on getting a raft made and rescuing me, and I didn't really tell her anything since I was hooked on my own thing. I decided to grab my items from my destroyed raft since I didn't really see the dodo wyvern anymore. Akisa was somehow taming an Archelon until she got met by the Supreme Dodo again.
Oh, not that dodo again.
And in the meantime Akisa was struggle busting with the Supreme Dodos, I found some metal. Like seriously, I couldn't believe my eyes when I was watching what Akisa was doing.
Jesus, it's so strong.
What is happening, Akisa? I think at some point, Akisa was kinda losing her sanity with these dodos.
Oh my god, what do they all want from me?
Is it going well? What is happening? Why am I even asking? Anyways, I had made some good progress at upgrading my raft to stone for now, which will hopefully keep the raft somewhat safe now. Akisa, however, couldn't get a break. If it wasn't for the dodos that was annoying her, it was the manticore preventing her from going back to base. But now, she was able to make a raft and come and save me because she thought I was still stranded. And now, I was starting to get a little bit concerned since I was starting to hear some massive explosions nearby. Nevertheless, Akisa had made it here now after a big struggle.
Oh my god, you made another raft.
Yeah, you took so long. What am I supposed to do? I just wanted to finish building the roof so I wouldn't get any more surprise attacks from random flying dinos. Akisa put up one of these gravestones as well, so whenever we kick the bucket from something stupid, we can easily recover our inventories now. But I think it's just about time to leave this area since there was a corrupted dark god rock elemental above me with 4.2 billion HP. And back home, Akisa was surprisingly taming up 2 female vanilla dodos that I must have missed. Crazy, cause I never saw those there. And as I was on my way back home, Akisa finally tamed up an Archelon with some biotoxin. It would be great to use the Archelon, but unfortunately we are like 800 short on the hide for making the saddle. Anyways, a bit later I went out in search of some oil so we can make the fabricator. So the next day, I was out farming a few vanilla dinos so we can make the Archelon saddle. We were not gonna have any use for the normal Pteranodon right now, but if we can get a saddle made for the Archelon, we can explore the ocean depths and get some silica pearls to make some electronics and get an awesome teleporter at some point to teleport from place to place. But now, I was back at the original place where it all started, where I found this vanilla Bronto, but it was gonna be rough trying to get his hide with the weapons I had on me right now. I was gonna need something stronger. I did find a dodo nearby that I could grab, but I was being protected by a turkey and a Supreme Dodo I was gonna have to take care of. Well, now I got the dodo, not the one I intended to get though, but it's better than none. Alright, I had the Bronto on the beach, so now I made some shotgun bullets cause we needed that hide badly. So after putting lead into him 20 times, I got about 300 hide from the Bronto. That wasn't bad at all. But it wasn't enough for the Archelon saddle. I needed slightly more, so I was gonna continue over here instead. And since I was here and spotted this Pteranodon, I decided to just tame it. But up this hill, there was this Therizino with a baby, and getting rid of the parent will reward me with some hide and a baby. Luckily, I just had a few more bullets in my shotgun for this. But after getting the baby Therizino, I tried fighting this tribeman, but he was barely taking any damage, so this felt pointless. Goodbye. But as I was running away, I stumbled upon another dino, so I picked it up. Now, when I made it home, Akisa was still building her watchtower, but the skin she was using was giving me some weird texture issues when I was moving left and right, like the skin wasn't loading properly. The next day, it was time to make the turtle saddle. The plan right now was to go to an area where we can get a lot of silica pearls. Since we aren't capable of flight travel yet while playing this massive map, getting a teleporter as soon as possible is gonna be the best thing we can have. The silica is all scattered across the ocean depths here, but it's at least filled with these clams, and if we had the scuba suit, this could go way faster for us. But since we're down here collecting pearls, we stopped by this underground area that was insanely massive to check out. this would be a perfect place to have our main base, except we don't know if this is a dungeon or not, because we have no structures on us to test it. So for now, we put it on hold and went to continue collecting some silica pearls. But I met my doom rather quickly when we were getting overwhelmed with plesios and then megalodons. Ouch, I'm gonna die. Well, since I couldn't go back to where Kisa was, I made an electric generator with the silica I collected from before. But on day 11, when Akisa joined the server, she had apparently spawned below the base and she couldn't move from her spot. She was completely stuck.
I'm still wiggling in my sleep. Oh, I stopped wiggling.
When I went over to my raft, I was apparently missing a lot of pieces that was not showing up. Why am I missing a wall here? Hey, what's up with my raft?
I don't know.
I grabbed Akisa to check it out as well, but she didn't seem to have the same problem as me.
Oh my goodness, will you look at that?
No, do you actually see it?
I think you're losing it, actually. There's nothing wrong with your raft.
Really? There's no pieces missing. Yeah, my game was completely wild, so after reconnect, it was all back to normal. Okay, after sorting out my game, I was looking over the awesome teleporter we were gonna make so we can teleport everywhere. We were missing out on electronics, metal, polymer, and yeah, technically all of it to make it. The easiest to get right now is gonna be to farm a little bit of metal. Akisa, however, was playing around with her skins for the base, but now I made it to some metal rocks. I didn't feel quite safe here with this Scorpion Nussi near the metal rocks I needed, but I managed to gather just a small amount of it at least. But when I came home, Akisa's skins she was playing around with was super weird, and it was displaying differently for both of us, which made it even weirder. I didn't really want to deal with it right now since I had bigger worries to think about. We still didn't have a male dodo, so I went back out to go look for one. I ended up finding a male one in the starter zone, but it was next to one of those boss dodos. There he is. Lol, I can't believe that worked. So now we got all of the dodos needed. We're just gonna need a dino terminal so they can practically produce the eggs inside it, so we can then finally make the supreme kibble. But the next day, Akisa and I was passing a dodo ball in the tower. Oh no! Akisa, go grab it!
The ocean!
Go grab it! Go grab it!
Ah! I can't get out here.
Squeeze!
I'm coming for you, Dodo.
Oh my god! But today, we had a plan, and that was to grab some polymer from some carcinos. And the place we picked out is 6,000 meters away. I didn't quite realize just how big Astros is, but it's certainly the largest map I've ever played on Ark. 15 minutes later, we arrived at this place. This place, from the looks of it, was similar to the Chromax arena from Borderlands 2. I guess Nekatus felt inspired by it. But nevertheless, we found the carcinos for the polymer and the chitin we were in need of now. We also found a baby crab here as well, so we picked it up after dealing with the bigger one. Got the baby? And on day 13, I was finally able to make an awesome teleporter along with 2 remotes. However, I couldn't make any more teleporters since we were out of silica pearls again. But before we were going home, I decided that we should try going for a little bit further north. The place up there is where Meguana spawn in, which is kinda like the Maywings in ASC. Akisa was playing around with the skin options for the boat so she could see out somewhat. The options were crazy when I saw it, like, why is there so many options? What the frick? But before we were going up to the land, I wanted to just see below here in the ocean if there was any silica pearls to collect, but there was nothing. And as I was going back to the raft from this disappointing pearl run, I suddenly got disconnected from the server. I got disconnected.
You're about to be disconnected from life.
And since we were dealing with the Meguanas, making a proper dino trap for it might be a smart idea. I had to make a chainsaw as well since the trap required wood, and I might get some use for this gathering up hide too. Well, since we made it to the top of this mountain and saw a vanilla Dinotherium, it would be a good time to get some use of that chainsaw to collect a little bit of hide. We went back up the slope again where we originally met up, but after gliding closer inland, we found a Meguana, but it was a very low level and close to these dudes fighting. And then I saw a 140 Meguana, so Akisa teleported to me. I was putting down my trap, but I was confused about what I was even doing. I'm an idiot. But now, it was trapped in, so I could knock it out. And now, when it was counting sheep, I had to go out and look for something nourishing, where I found a corner down by the beach that gave me some of its prime meat. After we got it tamed, I got chased by a Carno and escaped up on the rock here, but I didn't realize it could just walk around up to me. And after my respawn, I teleported over to Kisa, where I then got chased by a Dodorex. Oh my god! Kisa had spotted a Meguana, so we wanted to get that one, but it was sadly out in the ocean doing spins with the Megalodon. Kisa tried saving it from the Megalodon, but she had to pay the price for it. I caught up to it and I shot a trank arrow at it, but it fled, so we had to chase it down on Uruguay. I just had to protect it from the Cephactinus that was nearby the Meguana. Well, when we were going back to the raft on Uruguay, Kisa had a very scary moment where she suddenly were going under the map.
Mike, where'd I go?
What do you mean? You're on the turtle. And now, since we had a pair of Meguanas as our traveling mounts, we need to make it home safe and sound on the raft. I also made Kisa put down our awesome teleporter here, so we have an easier way of getting up to the north very fast. We can always make more of them back home, but getting up north will take about 15 to 20 minutes on a raft. But before we were going home, I still need a little bit of silica pearls for electronics. I still didn't have enough for making the Dino terminal and such yet, so we needed to still work on that part. Well, we found out we were out of metal for making more electronics, so we were gonna have to hit the metal rocks again in the mainland. But as soon as we made landfall, Akisa's game was making all sorts of fireworks. And Akisa was crazy when she decided to farm next to a nuclear Scorpionussi, hoping it wouldn't notice her. We're gonna try a different direction, but it didn't go nearly as predicted for Akisa. I was kinda thinking to myself, at this point, I think as soon as Akisa sees a dino, she just decides to stand still and give up. And when I was farming some metal, I stumbled upon a sheep nearby that I quickly harvested. And I visited a cave nearby to investigate it, but it was filled with a lot of centipedes. Today on day 17, I took one of the Meguanas out and I was just loving the speed out of it. Oh, this feels amazing. Oh, it's so fast. Oh, yes. Bruh, it is so good. And a bit later, I was heading towards Lemnokis to place a teleporter up there, because going from place to place will take a long time. I set up a teleporter up by the temple here before heading off exploring the lands here. There were just so many dangerous things all around here doing explosions and everything. I stopped by here just to grab some obsidian until I started getting bullied by the wildlife. But anyways, a bit later, Akisa was finally starting to move the stuff from my raft up to the base. I was looking over the boss tiers and there are apparently 12 tiers of bosses. However, after looking at the cable for the toxic tier, I noticed we need something called savage snail slime balls. So I assume we need to go out and tame a savage snail to make that. Well, today I just needed to work on capturing something easy for the savage tier, so I decided to just go for the turkeys. They are easy enough to obtain. Now they just need to produce some eggs for starters, and while I was producing eggs in the Dino terminal, I went to collect some woods for the forges. But then I ran into this tribesman and I decided to fight him. Kisa came over to help me out dealing with him and we were kinda just brawling it out. But after a while, he was defeated and surprisingly, we didn't really get anything special from him. And a bit later, I was just out farming a lot of fiber and berries while Akisa was building the flooring for the greenhouse I was gonna make. The greenhouse was taking shape. I was just gonna work on getting the crops made first, cause we can just farm everything else with the Therizino. The next day, Akisa was trying out some skins for our structures cause she was hoarding all of these skins on her. I decided to make her some better armor now, cause we had a little bit of this berserk hide. The cloth armor we were using was utter trash. Anyways, Akisa told me to pick out the Meguana for myself, so I just had to give it the proper name first, Maywing from Temu. The plan right now was to tame the savage Akatina to see if we could get our hands on the snail balls we needed. So we teleported over to the north where I had this one tracked down. But Akisa had a moment where she flew into Warden Wyvern. What happened to you?
What do you think happened to me?
I didn't see. What happened?
But I went to land so that I could pop back up in the air, right? Because I was out of height, okay? And as I was approaching and about to hit the ground, the creature that was sitting there poofed into existence and then destroyed me.
Well, as soon as I arrived at the Achatina, it was a little bit too dangerous of an area to grab it, so we decided to fly over to low level instead. And as soon as we made it to the snail, I got a Kisa face planted in the snow. Are you serious? We knocked it out and all we did now was to wait for it to tame up. But then the tree fell down and Harambe showed up. Whoa! I was wondering who was doing that. But the gorilla got too close to the Achatina and destroyed the snail, and the Kisa got smacked by the gorilla again. This place was really gorgeous and it would be really cool to live here if it weren't for those roaming broodmothers. The Kisa dragged the Achatina towards us so we could tame it, but here is where I made the mistake when I didn't notice that it was a passive tame.
What's that over there coming right towards us?
Oh my god! I think going towards a different snail might be better. Oh, of course!
Wow. A dark god broodmother.
I don't think it was gonna be here. We're leaving. Like, this place was insanely dangerous right now. It was filled with broodmothers in this area. But we managed to tame up the snail now at least. Supreme does have some really fascinating creatures, and I am super excited to get one of those eventually. Ooh. Oh, I want that. I want that, Akisa. Yeah. Day 20, we located the snail here, but it was close to 2 Carnos in the area. But Akisa led the Carnos away. We did notice that the snail didn't want to eat any of the kibble, so Akisa told me to fly away, but that didn't help at all since a Thyla suddenly dropped on her eating the snail. So now we located another snail in the snow area instead to grab. Akisa was just gonna try to lead the wolf away, but she didn't make it that far from it. Well, now we have 2 of the snails and all we have to do is wait for the slime ball so we can tame the toxic tier dinos. And in the meantime I was waiting, I went for this place to farm some hide and crabs. We were pretty short on normal hide, chitin and polymer. But after waiting for a while, we noticed that the snails didn't make any of the snail balls we were after. So we left one out instead to see if that would work. The next day, I worked on getting some billboards made along with some tranks. I had planned on taming up something that we can use for our very first Tera boss and harvest for the savage blood and hide. We weren't getting any of the slime balls from the snails we tamed, and defeating the first Tera boss would give us that apparently. So for now, I went out in search of my first boss dino to capture. I had picked out this savage trike since I think they would be a perfect fit for the first boss. The defense unit was a problem, so I had to box him in. But as I was trying to knock out this trike, I got suddenly backstabbed by a freaking berserk Carno. I grabbed the spare Miguana and I went back to the area and my teammate was still alive. But yeah, I got the trike knocked out and it was taming up. I picked up the Shinehorn as well, who was roaming the area. But a bit later, after loading up a few savage darts, I located another trike and I locked him into place to then knock him out. On day 22, I went over to the cave Akisa had been eyeing for a new base location and I just wanted to check if we were able to build down there. Well, I guess it works considering I could place down my billboards. Now, when we had a fully functioning greenhouse, Akisa put down a gardener for us so it would automatically pick up the crops as soon as they ripe from the crop plots. Now we got some savage trikes we could raise and then harvest for resources. We were in need of resources from the savage tier before we could work on the boss trikes. But today we had a different kind of a problem when one of those roaming boss dodos was near our island where our base was. Hopefully it won't stroll over here or it will be kinda like GG then. Well, I couldn't worry about it now. We had a boss ahead of us to fight soon. So I prepared by making a cooking pot and making a bunch of medical brews. Ark Supreme has their own health potion that I could make, but we were out of crystal, so we had to grab some of it. But now, I was able to make the savage health potions. We were obviously gonna need more than what I crafted, but this is a great start. Some of the trikes I threw out a while ago was ready to be harvested so we could get our hands on more hide for trike saddles. So by the next day I could finally make 20 trike saddles, 10 for the females and 10 for males. And since we were preparing for the boss fight with trikes and everything, I wanted to go out and maybe tame an Anki and a Doad so we can get our hands on some more metal and stone. So I prepared with some tranquilizers while Akisa was on the hunt of tracking these dinos down. And as soon as I was done, I teleported over to Akisa so we could fight these two tribesmen with my new trike. The loot we got was pretty good because we got Ascendant Gear, XP Potions and Taming Cakes that will drain dinos food faster. But a bit further up, when me and Akisa was racing towards one of the drops, I jumped off into a lot of wild dinos, resulting in me falling asleep. So I lost my Maywing from Timo. But luckily, Timo had these for sale, so I picked out a new one. Akisa even stole my Maywing, so I was stuck with her weird Ice Titan from Wish. But now, towards the end of the day, we tracked a pretty high level down and tamed it. The next day, Akisa suggested getting a second Ankylo and she was gonna lead, but it didn't go as planned for her. As soon as I saw you going up there, you had 2 Wyverns on you. We located the male Ankylo, but I was getting attacked from the back when I was just setting up a trap for it. What's that? Well, after flying through this area was probably the most dangerous one yet, because it had an abysmal amount of Wyverns here. We had located a new Anki that I trapped in, and Akisa had knocked it out and wanted me to come and feed it the kibble, but I ended up being burned alive. When we got back to it, this time Akisa got burned to a crisp, but we got the Ankylo. Alright, after catching those Ankis, I was preparing the boss trikes we were gonna use now. I made some of the other health potions as well, since we had a little bit of blood from them, and then I made the first boss spawner. So to fight this, we decided to head down to the area where we're gonna build our base. 3, 2, 1, oh. Wrong button. You didn't see that. I dropped it instead. 3, 2, 1, boom. The first boss was a snail boss with 1.4 million health, but it didn't seem too difficult. How's the trikes holding up against this? But over time, the snail did enough damage that the trike army didn't last until the boss was below 1 million HP. So on day 26, after a lot of intense left-clicking, the first boss was defeated. He spawned a Savage Akatina tameable boss that we could knock out. I decided to stay grappled up far above its head to trank it. I believed that the attacks he was doing weren't a small amount and it would probably one-shot me. As soon as we tamed it up and went back home, we were also able to make the snail slightly smaller for our purpose. All we had to do was dump a bunch of random berries to make the slime balls now. And after waiting for a little bit, we were now able to make the toxic kibble. Now, I wasn't sure what we should have tamed, but Akisa had something in mind for us already. When I figured it out, I wasn't exactly happy what Akisa chose. I'm not quite sure how good this will be.
No, it's okay. It's okay, Bulldog. You don't need to do this. I'm asleep.
What do you mean you're asleep? Eternally asleep. Alright, now Akisa had gotten one of the bulldogs, but she wanted another one so she could have more of them. I took Akisa to this island where it was 2 of those boss dodos roaming the beach, so she had to deal with them. So today we were kinda thinking over the toxic bulldogs we tamed. The bulldogs are cool, but they probably won't be good enough for taming any upcoming dinos in the other tiers. Like, their base health is really low. His mouth is open.
Oh, look at it. Oh, it's so cute.
No, it's not. Well, for now, we're gonna give the toxic featherlights a try. Maybe they might be better because they are flyers. And then a bit later, we went to capture the second one so we can make more of them just in case we lose them. One of Akisa's bulldogs was ready to be tested out on day 28, so I took it for a spin and it did some decent torpor. But a bit later, I had to go and collect some polymer and chitin again. I recently hit level 81 for scuba, and at level 82 I can make the chem bench so we can make narco and paste much quicker. After I was done with that, we went up against his tribesmen together and realized quite quickly that Akisa's bulldog did absolutely nothing in damage compared to my savage and Kylo. Is that all the damage you do?
Yep.
How's it going, kids? How did you give up on the bulldog?
He looks cute, at least.
Just tell me honestly, did you give up on So today, we found ourselves at the hill with the toxic stego. We were slightly disappointed with the bulb dog and featherlight, so we think we need to tame something tankier and stronger. The stego also had natural armor, so it will probably be a perfect fit for the job. I had to trap the stego in because it was moving around too much, so now we just needed to knock it unconscious. After we caught the first stego, we went to track down another one that we knocked out.
No.
And while we were waiting for the stego to tame up, Akisa found a prime sabertooth down the hill that she tried leading me towards. I survived. Well, now we have 2 of these stegos. Now we just want to make a few extras of them so we can harvest them for their stuff and use them for taming dinos in the Berserk tier. So on day 30, I finally made the industrial forge. We needed a tremendous amount of metal ingots, and this makes it so much faster than a Supreme forge. Well, for now, I could finally use our new Anki to go out and farm some metal from these rocks, giving me more than the tools. And once I got back home, I made some Berserk kibble because we were thinking of taming up a doed today so we can farm some stone. But Akisa wanted to catch a savage one instead, so she tracked one down. And while Akisa was trying to knock it unconscious, I was looking down below us where there was a Dodorex with so much HP. This might be a tame we want to eventually tame for bosses. And once it was knocked out, we went back home to grab some kibble for it so we could tame it. Okay. Or maybe not. Well, for now, Akisa was tracking down another doed. I went to farm a little bit of silica pearls for electronics since we will probably need it. So by day 31, we noticed something weird with the toxic stego. Wait, what?
Know. Did you notice something from that, though?
Are we supposed to get toxic stuff?
Yeah, for some reason, the stegos do not give you toxic stuff.
We had planned on getting a toxic trike since we think it will work. And this one did in fact require toxic kibble compared to the stego who only wanted crops and that vanilla stuff. As soon as I trapped it in and tried to knock it out, a toxic Carno came over and attacked our trike. He even knocked it out, but he ruined our taming efficiency as well on the trike. Well, since he ruined the taming efficiency, I think I want to go for a Carno instead because it seemed fun. And I know they work since I literally harvested up the toxic Carno and it gave me all the toxic stuff. So I tracked down the Carno and I trapped it in since it was literally AFK. I went home and I grabbed some taming helpers since it seemed like it was taking a while.
Yay! No! Behind you!
What was that? Oh no, I fell asleep. Please get rid of it. Alright, the Carno came out pretty good with 49 points into health. Now we just need a second one. Wait, what?
What?
I don't want that stupid bird suit. The second Carno was trapped in easily and then knocked out with little to no effort. The very next day, I went through my talent points and was thinking that it might be a good thing to maybe do a few more of them so our dinos get stronger. But right now, I wanted to see if I could try knocking out the Berserk whelping Dodorexy because they were all max level. But for some reason, Akisa got decimated from the back of her stego while fighting the Dodorexy. So this might be more complicated than I think it is. The darts were doing an okay amount, but when it was moving around like that, it became a little bit difficult. With our darts not doing any significant torpor damage, it might be because our long necks are basic. So we are in need of a better one, preferably a blueprint. We can get them from astral creatures, orbital supply drops and cave drops, so the first place we were gonna check out was the volcano region. I found an astral T-Rex instead, but I got mauled by a bunch of ravagers trying to get to the T-Rex. When Akisa took it down, we only got a bunch of ascended saddles. Akisa had looked up the location for one of the artifacts, I just had to put down a little outpost before we went in as well, in case we somehow got blasted to oblivion by any of the creatures. This cave does not have any normal dinos, if you thought so, because this Warden Rex was apparently patrolling in here.
Oh, it's got an ascended shotgun blueprint.
After exploring the cave for a bit, I couldn't see any more drops at all, so I gave it a chance fighting this astral raptor next to me instead. Yeah, boy. Oh, I got a blueprint! Long neck blueprint from the first astral.
No way.
From the first astral raptor. Unbelievable. Okay, after getting a pretty decent blueprint for a long neck, I went out to work on my talent points so I could unlock a few more skills. And while I was working on that, Akisa was outside farming a bunch of stuff with her stego. Okay, so now I unlocked the talent that gives me a chance for 2.5% damage increase when fighting dinos. A bit later, I found myself deep in the ocean gathering up a bunch of oil so we could make beef jerky. Akisa was down in the cave farming up the stone there so she could build a new base. But when I was gathering up the silica pearls, I was kind of thinking to myself that it might be better if I catch an anglerfish since it can gather a lot more silica pearls than myself. Oh, that was so much. It farmed way better than I honestly expected. 200 almost. I'm kinda disappointed in myself for not catching this earlier. And for the next few days, Akisa will spend her time building the new base down in the cave that will be a secret even for me until she is done. I was going to be nice and farm some thatch for Akisa so she could build the base, but I was getting bullied by a bunch of stupid dogs. Oh, come on. Oh, what? There's two of them. Wow, no way. I fell asleep. I'm gonna die to fall damage. Since Akisa was down in the cave stuck building, I had prepared a care package for her so she could continue staying down there as a cave troll in build. But for now, I had made a bit of this Berserk Narco and then the Dart, because I had planned on taming up this Berserk Argentavis. I wanted to use it for farming a lot of metal with my Savage and Kylo and eventually use it for the Berserk stuff as well. Oh wow, the Berserk Dart does so much! 10,000! So getting another Berserk Dino won't be too much of a problem with these darts. I just had to catch another RG of the opposite gender so we can have some more of them. And after I got them both home, I just left them so they could produce a few eggs. Alright, after waiting a whole day, my Carnos was ready to be harvested for the toxic stuff. The toxic Carnos did in fact give a lot of it compared to the disappointing Stegos or the shoulder pads we had. And after I was done with that, I wanted to give my new RG and an Kylo combo a go, but noticed that the Kylo wasn't working at all. Seriously? Well, that's not great. What's the point of doing this then? There was no different setting on it either to enable it, it was simply not doing what it was usually supposed to do. Regardless, I could just do it the normal way, but I wasted time on taming up the Argentavis. And once I was back home, the forge basically pulls the raw metal from every source, so I didn't have to carry it to the forge. But a bit later, I was out by the redwoods gathering up the trees for thatch so Akisa could still continue building. Weirdly enough, there was an oil vein out in the redwoods, so I took this time to build up an outpost here as well, because it's got oil producing for us now and gathering wood will be a breeze. But a bit later, I was back home crafting up some of these boxes along with a few structures that Akisa will get delivered to the new base. And while I was cooking up the boxes, I went to grab a little bit more polymer from the crabs. I did notice, however, that we had access to a new track sniper bullet, but it's probably gonna be a long time before we can even find a reliable sniper rifle blueprint on this map. But for now, I wanted Akisa to finish the base as soon as possible so I could move in. So I was gonna go out and farm her some more wood and thatch, but I got downright bullied when doing so. Since I was home now, I had my birds finally all grown up for harvest. We were gonna need this Berserk stuff badly to make powerful tranquilizers and health potions. Thereafter, I went to gather up a little bit more raw metal and Akisa was still building the new base. After slaving away again, I went back to base to get these toxic Carnos all grown up so we can chop them all up. And on day 39, I was out in the world and was after these astral dinos in hopes of getting a blueprint for a fabricated sniper. But a bit later, I gave up and I was home harvesting these toxic Carnos. I just like having a mass amount of everything in case we need it for something. But for now, I had prepared with 100 Berserk darts so I could try taming up this Berserk Whelpling Dodorexy. It had 700k torpor, way more than any other dino so far we've seen taming. Whoa! Is that a boss there? Great. I was gonna try baiting the Dodorexy to a different spot, but there was just too many dangerous creatures around here. Oh, Scorpionussy! The Dodorexy was moving so erratically, so I had to go back home and make a couple of metal gates to try trapping it in. But in the middle of baiting the Dodorexy to me, I got attacked by a savage manticore instead, so I decided to knock it out. It's not what I wanted, but I guess I'll take it. Alright, so by day 40, I had acquired myself a manticore. Perfect tame. But when I baited the Dodorexy over to my trap, it took a slight turn. Whoa, no. Okay. Dodorex can in fact destroy metal structures. So trapping him in was never an option. Akisa came over as well to help me out with the Dodorexy so I could try knocking it out with the dart since the toxic dinos we had did too much damage. And every time Akisa teleported to me, she was on top of me and the Dodorexy as well, so it was impossible to move. Oh my god. How it happens, I have no idea. Wait, where's it going?
To the Scorpionussy.
Well, for some reason, when its torpor went to like 80%, it went back to its original hunting ground. It was just running in circles in this area, but instead of peace, he shows violence when I was forcing him to join my degenerate tribe. Okay, he decided to attack me. He was just doing spins in front of me. It was going so well, and then you had to ruin it. You had to ruin it. It was going so well between us. We had a relationship there. Okay, Dodo. Yes. Nice. The next day, I was testing out the Dodorexy, and I was doing pretty decent damage to enemies, but the fire was awful. It must have been the wind, because all I could see was 6-7. And since I almost had 700,000 health, I wanted to try fighting this necrotic direwolf, so I potioned up. How much damage does it do to me? Okay, it does about 3,000. Oh, what? No, there is no way I just lost that. Well, that was a little bit disappointing. I was hoping for way more from that creature, but it was trash. For now, I figured it might be better working on the necrotic tier, so I tracked down a necrotic queen bee and tamed it up with some raw mutton. I tamed it. The necrotic queen bee is actually very important for making necrotic honey, so capturing this was essential. And to get the flowers, you just have to make them. But to make the necrotic flower, I needed a bit of necrotic blood, so I decided to go for the most insignificant creature to fight to gather it up. But these bulldogs were impossible to catch up to. Bro! These bulldogs are just moving around. Stand still. Come here, bulldog. Okay, I'm going for the force. They're not apparently fighting back. Further north, I was gonna test to see how good I could fare against the dire bear, and he was doing pretty high damage. Oh, what? It was 8,000! I managed to take it down, but that's not something I want to take on again. And back at home, I made a few of these flowers now, and I got some honey made. So now, I was able to make some necrotic kibble. However, I was gonna need some more rare flowers for making more supreme honey, so I took my Therizino out to these purple trees where I could farm a bunch of rare flowers. On day 42, I was tracking down a couple of these necrotic horses. I needed a significant amount of their stuff so I could try making some of the necrotic tracks. Because there was only 2 Allosaurs on the map right now, which were both a male and a female, I didn't want to lose out on the opportunity to catch them. I didn't really have a good strategy to trap them in, so I stayed in there with the Allo on my Carno. And knocking this Allosaurus unconscious with the Berserker Dart or the Toxic Carno wasn't that fast either. So I went back home to see if the ingots and the narco was finally done, and some of it was, so I can make a few of these necrotic darts at least. And when I left the Allosaurus, it had suddenly got out of the trap, but it was easy to box it back in. Oh, here we go. Oh my god, they did like 100k torpor. Jesus. Yeah, the new darts were pretty powerful since it brought up his torpor from 300 to 500,000. Alright, and that's one of them. The other one was by the temple where we had our teleporter, so I boxed it in and then knocked it out. So now we have a pair of this necrotic Allosaurus that will possibly be good for the next tier boss, the necrotic boss. And before the end of the day, it was time to head over to Kisa because she was done with the base. It looks like a starship. Wait, what is that? That's teeth. It's a shark.
Maybe.
What the frick? Oh my god. I like it. It was really neat inside and it had a lot of room for activities, but from what the Kisa told me, she didn't quite finish it since it was missing a lot of the texture skins that she haven't been able to place out yet. For the next day, I went through the kibble where we needed Berserk snail balls, but in order to get that snail, we have to evolve it. And to evolve it, we need to fight these Berserk kings and collect their things to make them. For now, we should at least start by fighting some of the snail bosses and capture a few snails. These snails were putting up a good fight before, but now it's a piece of cake. And knocking them out with my necrotic darts were pretty easy because it only took one. Well, a bit later, my new necrotic Allosaurus was ready to be finally tested out. Oh, it does a breath? Oh my god! Wait, the breath does so much damage. Does it have another ability? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. It does some really interesting abilities. And now, when we had the snails, it's time to start fighting these kings, and the first one was the King of the Grasslands. Oh my god, I see it! King of Grasslands. Wait, how much HP does it have? Wait, that's it? It has no HP! I wanted to see if we could get our hands on an extra soul if in case it was around. Yeah, come over here, bruh. I guess I wasn't imagining things, but it has no HP. Oh, I got the soul. Did you also get any?
Oh, yeah, I also got the soul.
Ah, so we both can farm it. Aha. The next one was a little bit further north, next to a lot of mountains where it's usually the most dangerous. Wow, it died so quickly. But as soon as we were done with the worm, there were apparently a meteor coming down at us. Goodbye. Well, for some reason the swamp one didn't spawn in, so I decided to hunt down all of these kings so it maybe spawned in. On day 45, it was finally time to move down into the cave, and living down here will give us a tremendous amount of space, which is great since some of the dinos are gargantuan. While I was organizing the dinos and such, because that was my job, it keeps us playing around with our millions of skins to our structures. But yeah, we spent the whole day organizing the new base. Okay, after getting most of it sorted, I made the next boss summoner, the necrotic boss. Then we went over to the beach and summoned it in. 81 million! It was the shape of a rock golem that was able to rain a fire of flames upon us, but our allies were pretty decent against this though. Okay, it's done. Oh, he gave me something. He gave me a rock golem boss saddle. And like the first boss, after we defeated it, it spawned a tameable one. We just had to knock it out. But way later, towards the end of the day, I went over to the volcano island where I found this purple OSD. This was the perfect time to use my new golem for the job since it could annihilate dinos all around him. The Kisa even came by to assist me with the purple drop because this was usually our thing on extinction back in ASC. She was helping me out with the dinos that kept getting stuck all over the place because something never changed in Ark. And from doing this OSD, we were gaining a mass amount of levels because these dinos are a great source of experience. And by this point, we had reached wave 8, but we were gonna try doing as many waves as possible until the day was over. But these last creatures were really annoying and wasn't coming out of their hole. They didn't want to come out, so we decided to end it on the current wave 11. Wait, how's the loot gonna come out of this? Oh, look at that loot. 1,000 cementing paste. Oh my god, I am not gonna be able to move. So from our OSD run, it wasn't all bad loot, and I got a fabricated sniper rifle as well. So now I could possibly utilize those new tranq bullets for it. Well, a bit later, I figured I could try fighting the necrotic boss again, so Kisa will be able to get one for herself too. But when I was gonna go home to make some more necrotic kibble, I noticed that the recipe had changed during the week. So now the kibble required berserk snail balls. Well, a bit later, we finally got the king of the swamp spawning in, so now we could fight it. It was ridiculously easy with our allos and went down so fast. Wow. Yeah, it's, you know, it's completely balanced. Well, back at home, we used all of our souls now to evolve our snail into berserk. So now I can make the slime balls and the necrotic kibble again. On day 49, the necrotic golem boss was finally tamed, so me and Akisa both had each one. Alright, I think it's time to move on to the next tier. But to do that, I will have to start by taking down the grenadier, so I was gonna go for this dodo. Hello Dodo, I hope you like rock. Whoa! Well, this sucks. There goes my rock golem. This tier is completely different from all the other ones, and I might need some sort of a strat for taking it down. But first things first, I need a new golem. I had also started raising a bunch of allos in conjunction with this, just to see if my plan would work out. Kisa had been very busy, as she had a lot of fun with her skins and building this all. I myself was still on the quest trying to figure this whole part out with the grenadier, where I sent in my allos one at a time, hoping it would be enough to get his HP down. But I noticed that the dodo, however, doesn't heal up after it has been damaged. Sure, sending in a few allos made the dodo bleed, but it didn't last for long. The dodo was insanely strong. Kisa even tried baiting it closer to my golem so I could launch my fire meteor from a distance, but it simply couldn't reach it. We decided to head down to a lower level where the dodo would be swimming instead, but the Arcus and its new dinos having a smart pathing, it made it a little bit complicated when he found a way up. I placed down a couple of its stone gates just to see if the dodo is smart enough to work his way around this. Kisa was working on getting the dodo down into the ocean so we could do this thing. It was essentially working out pretty okay. Kisa was even able to attack it with her allo because the dodo's brain was completely fried. He couldn't work on a way to pathway his way up here, let alone swim to shore. But for some reason, he gained a new set of brain cells where he destroyed the Kisa. Ooh, oh no!
Ooh, that got me.
No! But now, he has only 1 million HP left. The dodo wasn't having it anymore, and he didn't want to jump into the ocean to get the Kisa.
Sure.
Come on! And finally, after a bit, we got our very first grenadier dodo boss slain.
Going down.
Oh,
it's down.
Nice. And with us defeating it, I unlocked the next tier of kibble, Prime. And then it also spawned in a tameable grenadier dodo that we could knock out and tame. The dodo wasn't attacking us at all, so all we had to do was to knock it out with our darts. I quickly went back home and made a kibble, and now we had our very first grenadier dodo. We just need a mate for it so we can make more of them. Also, with the defeat of the boss, we got a hold of this grenadier factory structure along with the token. This will allow us to make the herbs so we can make the prime kibble and tame those. We still needed a few more grenadier bosses defeated, and it's really tricky dealing with them. Ooh, I mean, it could work. So I'm not quite sure if this will work, but we are using every means necessary to make sure we do. So the next day, the golem was on top of the zeppelin, and we flew over to the grenadier dodo I was tracking. Oh yeah!
Lol.
It's working! Great plan! This was surprisingly effective, and luckily the dodo couldn't reach up to us here. But after we took down the dodo, I was confused as to why I was still doing damage. No! No, I'm an idiot. I'm killing the tameable one. There's a monkey down there. Oh, wait. There's two tames down there we can tame.
Oh, that's right, because there was a grenadier monkey, too. And remember, they're passive, so you could just...
We were still on the hunt for female dodo, so we could get more of them. Akisa was taming up the monkey that was nearby that we fought as well. And after we sorted out those 2 dinos, we had this female here and we started fighting it. Maybe if we fight the female one, we have a chance to get one as a tameable one. But it's sadly RNG, and it spawned a freaking male. I still decided to catch it in case we would get some better stats than the other males. I tamed it. But for day 54, we finally got a female grenadier dodo. It was just a little bit complicated getting it inside the trap. No! Oh, I got something. A hellfire bee. Using this potion will summon a tamed bee. What? How did I get that?
Is something nearby kill a hellfire?
I think so. Alright, now we can make some more of these dodos. This will sure help us out in the long run. And when everything was set up and ready for making more boss dodos, I tried using my bee summon, but I didn't get any hellfire bee for some reason. Where is the bee? Where's my bee? So the next day, I got a new long neck and a fabricated sniper made with some crafting skill into it for maximum percentage. But a bit later, I gave one of the dodos a spin. It was pretty powerful, but its aiming needs a little bit of a tweak, I think. I even decided to do something really foolish, and that was to try fighting this vampiric broodmother with my dodo. Goodbye, broodmother! Oh, here we go. It's doing something. Oh, I'm nuking it! Oh, the broodmother's on me!
Uh-oh.
Oh, I got the broodmother. Vampiric broodmother gone. Okay, I need to harvest that. Whoa! There's another broodmother here! Spam! Spam! Where did this broodmother come from? Oh my god! I just defeated it. As my reward for defeating it and harvesting up the broodmother, I suddenly got webbed. Oh. Okay. By day 56, I had decided to give it a chance fighting this nuclear raptor. I held my own against these vampiric broodmothers pretty well, but I think I got a little bit too confident.
Well, there you go.
Anyways, after all of these days, Akisa had finally completed the build on the base with the skins and everything. But it's time to get a move on these grenadier bosses. We had a few left to do, so we can start with the next tier. I would let Akisa handle the fight first to see how good she was holding up against it. It seemed like it was going pretty well, but it was impossible to see what we were even doing at this point. And Akisa's FPS was struggling on that RTX 5080. Crazy. After we were done with it, we went to fight the monkey, which was really easy. We literally needed tokens from all of these grenadiers so we can make the next thing. And while I was back home grabbing the summoners for the other grenadier bosses, Akisa came across a hellfire queen bee and she was able to summon it. I didn't get one when I used mine. I think out of all of the grenadier bosses we could have chosen to tame, the dodo was definitely the best. Okay, we're about to defeat him here. Boom! Alright, the Dodecaris was up next and we were saving the Spino for last. But the easiest one of them all was the Spino. We literally melted him down. The Dodo was definitely the hardest one of them all because he was just spamming his rockets all over the place. So on day 58, it was time to make the Grenadier herbs. And the neat thing about it is that it doesn't use the tokens to make it. It just activates the tower so we can get infinite herbs. I also made a bit of this vampiric narcotic I got from the broodmothers in the swamp and turned it into tranquilizing bullets. I suspect it's gonna be insanely good for torping dinos. And now when we have grenadier dinos, we can harvest their stuff. We can also make the health potions for it that gives us 15% HP regen for 40 seconds, so it's pretty powerful. But for now, we figured we could go out and hunt these missing queen bees for the tiers we will eventually get to. The Dark God and Vampiric were by this beach here. So now we have all of the different bees for whenever we start on that specific tier. Alright, by day 59, it was time to move on to the next tier, Prime. I had my new Vampiric Trank bullets and they were putting up some exceptional work in torping this wyvern. It was like 8 million torpor per bullet, so it's kinda super easy to get it unconscious. And now I just gotta make the new prime honey and the kibble, and voila! We now have our first prime dino. The next wyvern I was going for, I tracked it down, but a freaking spectral monkey destroyed us before I was even able to knock it out. No!
Me too, bro. Me too.
Is that a hydra? It is a hydra, nuclear hydra. Oh, I want that, Giza. Look at that.
It's so cool.
And when we got there a second time, I got it knocked out, but I got blasted to oblivion in the process. But the Giza somehow survived that assault. Well, now we can at least get them to do some work. We were gonna need a good emerge one along with a few extras to harvest for their prime stuff. On day 60, we were fighting these prime tribesmen with our dodos, and these dodos were doing so much work, man. So much work that my graphics card Temu cable was about to start melting. But yeah, aside from my graphics card standing on its last life cycle, I got a few good items from these tribesmen, like a prime wyvern saddle. So the dodos we were using for harvesting grenadier resources were pretty garbage, so we decided to just fight these spinos since they drop a lot. And a bit later, I was by the desert area again, where I was fighting this Hellfire Ravager. I was genuinely curious how powerful my little dodo was up against him, and he did some good work like usual. I managed to get a little bit of Hellfire blood and hide along with vampiric blood from a Scorpionussi nearby. Alright, after waiting for a few days, my prime wyvern was now ready to be used, and it was time to test out his damage. What? There's no way the wyvern does that much damage. What the frick? Like, even taking down a Hellfire Ravager before was pretty rough with the dodo, but jumping to the prime wyvern was a huge gap. But fighting a Hellfire Argentavis was a little bit sussy, since it was doing an exceptional amount of damage to my wyvern. The health potion I had barely kept up with it. But the artist was really good for getting this Hellfire blood, so I will eventually be able to make some Hellfire Trank bullets now.
Are you ready to see me level up, Mike? Do.
I'm gonna shoot you if you don't.
Level up.
Your face is just turning more darker.
Right.
Can't even see your
Okay,
eyeballs
I'm
anymore.
gonna find some blue dye. At least dye my beak and eyes blue.
I can't see your eyes. Well, after our trip outside with our dinos, I was able to make some Hellfire narcotics and bullets. And finally, by day 63, it was literally time to jump into the prime bosses. I had the spawners already made, and we summoned it in by our starter area. We got a token and a prime factory from defeating the boss. And in just a few minutes, we went through all of these bosses like they weren't even there. This was way too easy. After taking down 3 of these prime bosses, we were now able to make the prime herb with the factory and tokens we obtained. So now we can move on to the nuclear and vampiric tier. But today, it was time to tame this nuclear Scorpionussi. Akisa wanted them badly, and they were the next one to tame. We hand selected one out in the desert, and I used my new Hellfire bullets for it, which did like 50 million torpor per bullet. That's just crazy. Oh, look at my Hellfire track. Oh my god, do you see that? Then a little bit later, we were tracking down a vampiric hydra that I wanted because they were really cool. But as we arrived, it was next to a nuclear one, so I knocked out both of them. Might as well, you know. But when we got attacked by something, I tried soulballing it, but it didn't work with the super cryo pistol. And for some reason as well, it was stuck in a sleeping loop and was literally just relaxing on the job. Well, I wasn't so happy with it, so we went out for a vampiric wyvern instead. Surely this would work better. I just had to knock it out. Akisa helped as well, in her own way. What happened?
That's a great question. I'm sure you'll see.
Well, it's clear now, Akisa.
Huh?
Is it?
You gotta hurry to tame it. Okay, so when Akisa gave it a kibble, it didn't seem to want to accept it at all. Well, since this is clearly a very early release, we decided to try going for Vampiric Basilisk instead. And when Akisa gave it the kibble, it didn't accept it either. What is happening with the vampiric here? Can't tame vampiric. Well, luckily, we found a competitor that actually worked. He ate the kibble. Wow. We really had to resort to Allosaurus. Alright, and now we got a second one too.
Okay, beam me up, Spock.
Well, after we got everything home safe and sound, our problems didn't end there. We had tamed up 2 scorpion Ussis Akisa wanted to use, but for some reason, the saddle couldn't be made anywhere. The saddle was completely missing from the mod, I think, since we tried everything. What? Bro! Well, today, since we were waiting for the allos and scorpions to make more, so we can harvest them for stuff, we took our serpents out for a spin just to try them.
Oh look, an OSD. Slide to the left. Slide to the right.
What are you doing? They did okay in damage, but we wanted just to see how good we were up against the spectral warden with our Hydra, so this will be interesting.
I'm sure this will go great.
I don't know, man.
Slide to the warden. Slide to the death.
Wow, it was 51!
So that one shot me.
It did 51 million! Oh well, after that disappointing result, some of the dinos were ready to be harvested, and I noticed a problem. The scorpions we had gave us the nuclear blood, but they didn't give us the hide at all, which we need for boss summons and more. So the next day, we were gonna solve this problem by catching a pair of nuclear saber-tooth. I just had to knock it out. But as I did that, Akisa was just gonna do a loop around the saber-tooth to make sure the area was safe. Okay, I got a little bit bored of waiting for the nuclear dinos to be harvested, so I took one of my newly raised vampiric allos to fight the nuclear hydra for its stuff. Wow, what is that? Dude, there's so much explosions here! Can I harvest this? Is it safe? YOLO. I even spotted this Hellfire Kaiju a bit further down the slope. He had 186 million health, but his attacks weren't doing that much to me. That was easy. But on day 67, it was time to start on the warden bosses, where I summoned in the Trike first. 1.7 billion! It's already attacking me! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I'm gonna die! Ah! I think I pressed the wrong button. Yeah, so I completely goofed up and I pressed the wrong key and dismounted from my allo. Akisa managed to get away from it, so the boss reset. That gave me enough time to return with the new vampiric Allosaurus. But the boss was doing way too much damage for Akisa's dino, and her potions were all on cooldown, so this was the end for her. We decided to just cheese the boss from the air instead on top of the Zeppelin. And once we defeated him, we got a token and a tameable trike. It just had to be knocked out and tamed with some warden kibble I made. So I guess we will fight another trike so we can breed them together in order to fight the rest of the wardens without having to cheese the fights. We did the same thing again and it went perfectly to plan, but unfortunately it was a male again and we needed a female. The next day we fought a third one where it finally spawned in a female for us to catch. So now we just need to make more of them to use for the next warden bosses and such. These guys already have a massive health pool in comparison to our nuclear and vampiric dinos. But a bit later, I wanted to hunt down a Hellfire RG for its stuff, cause taming all of those different types from before left me with almost no tranq bullets left. And those Hellfire bullets were the best. On day 69, when I was sorting out the warden trikes we were gonna need, I look over at the Akisa's POV and she's taking a bath for some reason. Well, we didn't really have that much to do right now, and we figured we could probably pass the time by fighting some Astrios map bosses. And by the end of the day, I went out to collect a bunch of Byron Talons. Akisa was after the Thylaclaws. We weren't needing that much, so by the next day it was time to fight the Minotaur. With our super modded dinos, we kinda just poked at him and he fell instantly. After we were done with that boss, there was another one we could teleport to and I went to check it out quickly, where I got completely cooked instead. Akisa felt it as well as soon as she went there. I went back to the area because now it was the perfect time to try out my new trike. The damage was quite amazing. Wait, I got a chainsaw? Lol, I got a blueprint chainsaw. But for now, this area was really good, so we decided to fight the Warden Rex here. I can't say I have a lot of frames.
Oh, I just lost connection.
Same. And apparently the trikes had obliterated the Rex when we disconnected, but since we got disconnected, we didn't get the boss token, so this makes it a little bit complicated. Our attacks makes us disconnect, and if you're not present or nearby the boss when he falls, we don't get the token. I turned off the damage numbers for this second try in case this will help. The plan was to have me up by the cliff with my back turned towards the Rex, while Akisa fights the Rex so I don't disconnect, and I get the token. 1.7, 1.6. Oh my god, it's dropping so fast. Oh, I think you disconnected.
I did.
We did, however, defeat the boss, but the Rex moved too far away from me when he fell, so I didn't really get the token. And the third time we did the Rex, the boss went down so quickly, but I got the token and Akisa got disconnected again. The next warden up was the monkey. But this time, it went a little bit better for Akisa because she wasn't spamming her ability, so she didn't end up getting disconnected. Alright, late into day 71. We went into one of these volcano caves since there was an artifact we could collect among some Therizino claws. And as we reached the bottom, Akisa collected a pack artifact from in here. We still needed a few poison wyvern talons, so I got out and started slaying the wyverns. Akisa did the same, but she went off to a completely different spot for it. But now, it was time for the Erymanthian and the Colidonius boar bosses. I think I pronounced that right. Anyways, we were hoping for something cool from them, like a weapon, but it wasn't anything super special. So we decided to just continue on with the warden bosses, and for some reason, we did the monkey again. We even had a spare trike down there with the boss, but that was such a bad idea because both of us got disconnected from the fight. Hey, I got the token! I got the token even though I disconnected. Alright, the fourth boss is a manticore that got completely cooked from the trike, but Akisa ended up getting disconnected again. We even got a tameable one that survived the assault from our trike, so I knocked it out so we could tame it. The manticore is pretty cool, but I think it was missing some of the things like the sound effects of its wings flapping. But anyways, it's time for the last warden boss, the wyvern. Akisa had to handle the fight when I was just staying up on the cliff, but she somehow got cooked on top of her dino. I didn't really want to intervene with the fight in case I would get disconnected, so I just stayed up here while Akisa's trike was dealing with the fight. And as soon as we defeated the wyvern, I got crisped off the back of my trike. No! We decided to go for another manticore so Akisa could also have her own. They were pretty fast for flying, like that was the thing. And after doing a few boss fights over here, we thought it might be a legit good spot for the rest of our fights up there, so Akisa was building an outpost. On day 74, it was time for the last warden boss, the Supreme Leader. But before we were even able to get to position, something terrible happened.
Yeah. What Spectral Rex? I don't understand. What just happened?
Did I just use the boss summons or what happened? No, I still have the boss summon on me. Oh my god, this is Spectral near us. Oh my god, it got rid of our trikes. I'm gonna show you.
It has such a range. Oh my god.
Well, too bad about the outpost the keys I made, but we couldn't do the boss up there. So we went over to the start area instead. And as soon as I used the summoner, the Supreme Warden Titan spawned in. 2.1, it's a kaiju. Okay, it does 6 million. Oh my god, I'm taking so much damage! So we unlocked something. Hellfire Kibble. But with this boss defeated, we got another factory, which was for making the Warden herbs. And this means it will be time to get the Hellfire Dinos. On day 75, before we were gonna go for any Hellfire Dinos, we wanted to try gathering up this stuff for the Manticore fight to unlock most of the tech rams so we can gender swap our dinos. And clearing this cave was a joke with these dinos. But what we were after was the artifact of the crag. I went back up where we came from and I found the Gatekeeper artifact and I grabbed it. The next cave we had to visit was by the desert. I just had to try clearing it first. But it didn't really matter because Akisa got blasted into the respawn screen. Well, after a little bit, this is where the destroyer artifact was. All we needed now was just a bunch of talons again. But now, we have gathered everything necessary for the boss fight and we are ready. 3, 2, 1, let's go, right? Uh-oh. Well, you know, the boss was no challenge whatsoever. But we got the tech rams we needed. Oh, element! Hurry! So now, I was able to make the tech replicator where we could choose different sizes of it. It's so small, look at it. I now made a mutator as well, so we can gender swap our dinos whenever we want. Alright, now we have sorted out the tech rams, it's time for us to capture some Hellfire dinos. I was gonna need a pair of Argentavis from the desert, so that is where we will be going. The Hellfire Argus were easy to go for, especially with our pristine snipers for the job. And after sorting out the Argentavis couple for the Hellfire Hide and Blood, we were out to capture Akisa's horses she wanted. We did notice that Akisa's new horses were quite weird since they weren't doing a live birth of another horse. Wait, what? Where's the baby?
Oh, it laid an egg.
Oh.
Mike. They got horses laying eggs.
That's kind of weird. Either way, Akisa had her horses, but I wanted to capture myself a Hellfire Dragon. My taming technique was pretty stupid, but I was just hoping his torpor would hit max by the amount of bullets I laid on him. And it sure did work as he was stuck in his sleeping loop. I tried going for the same method for the second dragon as well. I got deleted! Alright, on day 78, I got my second dragon. So it was time to put them to work so I could have a stronger one for the upcoming Hellfire boss. Okay, after an unrelated break, my Hellfire dragon was ready. We were by the desert area so we could use this new space to fight the Hellfire boss. Akisa's horse was pretty buggy, but she was ready. 3, 2, 1. Oh my god, it's a monkey! Oh, he grounds me. This Hellfire boss did ticking damage in the millions and was hitting me for 42 millions. But we defeated him nonetheless and unlocked the Dark God Kibble. Our tactic for dealing with the bosses was basically try to nuke them down as fast as possible before our Grenadier health potion runs out. Alright, after being done with that, it was time to make the last tier of Kibble, the Dark God. We went out to try capturing this Dark God Broodmother. Akisa wanted it, but we had to be careful since its attack had a huge range. But now we have our first Dark God Dino. The next day we went for a second one and this one took a while to knock out. But since we knocked it out in the ocean and was about to tame it, it kinda drowned. Wait, did it die?
Yeah?
It drowned.
Quick?
Yep. We had to go for a different one for me, where there was at least this Dark God Rex to tame. But in the middle of everything, Akisa's game was completely shitting itself and it was really concerning. And as I knocked it out, the Rex was being ruined by a freaking Grenadier Dodo attacking it, so I lost out on like half of my taming efficiency. Luckily for me, there was another Rex up, far into the north of the map. I just had to knock it out and then feed it to Kibble. Also, these dinos are not breedable at all, so we decided to just use our mutators to force a little bit of imprint on them to get some more HP. But we ran into another problem where we couldn't make any of the Dark God saddles. So we went out and I fought this Dark God rock elemental, which weirdly enough gave us the hide. We had to go for another one because one rock elemental was simply not enough. On day 82 was the final stretch. We made the saddles and now we are ready for the next boss, the Dark God King. He's spawning with 240 billion health, but our dinos were just enough for this guy. I just had to turn off the damage numbers with this fight since we were having like 10 FPS with that on. I think we're pretty good because the monkey can't hit us from here. He can't reach us. And once we defeated him, we got rewarded with the Dark God King token. So now all we had to do was hunt down and defeat the corrupted Dark God Rex for the final piece. It's slowly going down, you know. And on day 83, it's time to turn my Dark God Rex into a corrupted variant. He ended up with 6.7 billion HP. Akisa transformed the other Rex as well since we just had the stuff for it. We needed to get Akisa's broodmother transformed as well, so we had to fight the Dark God King again. He went down even faster now thanks to my Rex. And then we summoned in Akisa's corrupted Dark God broodmother. And now Akisa has her own corrupted Dark God broodmother. Oh my god, so many broodmothers. So on day 84, we ran out of XP potions for leveling up all of our dinos, so we went to summon in a lot of this grenadier spinos since they drop it. But it's time for the next boss of this tier, the corrupted Dark God Emperor. It was a little bit hard to see where the boss even was in these attacks, but at least we could see his HP dropping. And after defeating him, we got the Emperor token, and now it's time to take down the Spectral Warden. We needed its token so we could transform our Wardens. And after he fell, I didn't receive a token. It was just because I was simply too far away from him when he fell. Akisa got one, but I needed one as well. So on day 85, we were gonna go for this other Spectral Warden trike. But facing that boss head on was an incredibly stupid idea. It just rushed me. What? Did that just happen? Akisa was able to escape from it since her Spooder had the zoomies. Luckily, we still had the other Rex, but this time we stayed up on a mountain instead of facing him head on. The trike didn't like that we stayed up on the mountain and he got himself stuck in the ocean instead, sandwiched between me and Akisa. When I couldn't hit him with my Rex, Akisa dealt with it from her side. And now I finally got my own Spectral Warden token and soul. So now we can evolve our Warden trikes to the endgame dino. The designs for these trikes were freaking sick as well to look at. But in order to do the final boss of this mod, we had to take down a few more Spectral Wardens for it, so we decided to head over to this place again to deal with them. The orb tick damage it was doing was like 344 million. It's alright, I guess. The gorilla was just stupid and he went down easily. And the next boss was the Titan, but he was unable to do anything and he went down within seconds. The next one we had to fight was the Wyvern. And with that boss fight, Akisa took so much damage from the boss, so she lost her trike. She got literally melted. And just because of that, we had to fight the Dark God Emperor again. I got a token.
Alright, got it.
And then the Spectral Trike as well. So now Akisa has a new Spectral Trike to use. So on day 87, the last Spectral Warden we had to fight was the Manticore. We went over to the desert again. And Akisa actually kited the boss around, but he got her anyway. We were gonna have to do the Spectral Trike boss fight again. Yeah, there we go. And finally, it's time to make the last summoner of this mod. We went over to the same area again because I wanted to get this boss fight done tonight because it was like 4 AM my time. The final boss spawned in and he had like 400 billion HP. Alright, the end fight was kinda underwhelming, but please remember, this is the early days of this mod, and it'll change and update over time probably by the time you're guys watching this video. But guys, this is the end of the video. I know it's only day 87 and we didn't quite make it to day 100, but there is still so much content yet to be added to this mod, and thank you for watching.